Hello, this is the Radio Geek from Radio Geek Blades, and today for you I've got pocket knife number 2 from a box of traveling knives. Brought to you by Ray at North Star Knife Reviews, and this one is the Kershaw KS-1446, and it's known as the 3/4 ton. They've got a half ton and some other ones, and you'll see kind of why in a little bit, but this is the 3/4 ton, so this is a little bit bigger than the half ton, which I think is like a 1445 or something like that. Anyway, let's see what it looks like here. This is a Kershaw, got a nice spear point blade on there. It has a glass reinforced handle with grippy non-slip inserts. That's what these are, and they're kind of a rubbery feel to them, and then this is just like just smooth. So this is, get all your grip from right here. Has a little bit of jimping on the scales here on the back. It is a liner lock, and the cool thing is it has this wrench, hence the name 3/4 ton for the name of the knife. So I thought that's pretty cool. It's got this pocket clip that looks like a wrench, and the blade steel is 8CR13 MOV stainless steel. Like I said before, it's a liner lock. The blade is 2.75 inches long. It has dual thumb studs. It is 3.875 inches closed and 6.625 total length when it's open. The clip is tip down, non-reversible. There's no screws over here around the pivot on this side to switch it to the other side, so it's strictly a one-way on this. But that pocket clip is pretty cool for sure, and it weighs, the whole knife weighs 3.4 ounces. This is a really good size for an EDC. It's not really huge, so it's kind of like a little stubby blade, you know. It's really wide there, and it pockets really easily. And it's, you know, you get this thing out to open up a box or something, and it's not really big and scary, so it's good for opening up packages and things like that. And I carried it, and it worked really well for that, for getting into boxes and cutting plastic and things like that. It's got a pretty decent edge on it. Doesn't really have a whole lot of billboarding on the blade. It says Kershaw there, and then it's got the model number 1446 right there, and it says China down there in that corner. It does say Kershaw on the grippy part, and the pocket clip is really cool. I guess that says Kershaw on it too. The pocket clip is really cool. I really dig that wrench. It looks like it's going across, spanning this nut here. You know, that really is a theme there. And then we've got the other end of the wrench here. That's the pocket clip. Now, I did have one issue with it where I carried it for a day, and I got home and I took it out of my pocket, and I noticed one of the screws was missing. And actually, it was one of the ones on the other side, but I moved it so it has 2 screws on either side, so it holds it a little better. But I looked in my pocket, I looked everywhere for that screw. I couldn't find it. I have no idea what happened to it. And so I was gonna tighten up these other 2, and I figured I was probably a T6, but it's not. It's a T5. A T6 wouldn't fit it. T6 was too big. T5 fit right on there, just no problem. So I was able to tighten those 2 down, and I looked around from some of my other knives to see if I had an extra screw I could put in there, but I couldn't find anything that would fit it. So I didn't have a screw to put in there. So I emailed Ray and I told him what happened and asked him, well, you know, what do you want me to do about this? You know, just looking for some direction there. I told him what happened and everything, and he says, he says, don't worry about it. It's an inexpensive knife. I'm not worried about it. You know, stuff happens. Don't worry about it. So that was really nice of him. I really appreciate him letting us all take a look at these knives and put our opinions out there on what we think about them. And then, you know, I try to leave things the way they are. And, you know, if I open boxes and I get residue with them, I clean them off, and I make sure I take care of this stuff because it's not mine. You know, I treat it like it is mine, but I don't do any abusive things to it. And so I was really disappointed that I lost one of those screws, but I appreciate Ray's understanding on that. And I did get some blue Loctite, and Ray, I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a little bit of Loctite on the threads, and I'm going to put these screws, excuse me, these screws back into these positions that they're in right now, because I think that's the strongest position for them, is to have one on either side, because your pocket clip will want to go like this. So I'm going to put just a little bit of blue Loctite on it, so hopefully it will stay in there better and the screws won't back out. And with the blue Loctite, you can put a you know, your screwdriver on there, and you can break it free and get it off of there without any issue. It's holding, but it's not crazy holding, so you can always take it off if you want to later or something. So I'll just put a little bit of blue in there to hold them in place. But all in all, I think it's a pretty nice little knife for what it is. It operates nice. The liner lock, you can get to it with your thumb. You can slide it over, and you know, the lockup is it's kind of in the center, I guess, but you know, you can move it easily. You know, I can just move it like that, and there's enough access there on the side you can see it, you know, so you can get your finger in there, or the meat of your finger or your nail easily, and be able to move it. And you can, you know, close it one-handed. The blade centering looks to be pretty good too. The action on it's pretty nice. It really whips right out of there with the thumb stud. Well, that time it didn't, but there you go. So that works rather well. I could not get it to come out with the Spidey flick. I just can't get enough of my finger in there to at the right angle. You almost have to attack this from the bottom up like this to get it to go, and you really can't do that on the other side. It's very difficult, at least for me it is, but the thumb works just fine. And you know, it's a nice blade on it, and it's really a good box opener. I didn't find any problems with that at all, and I really like the naming convention, the 3/4 ton, and then the wrench pocket clip, I think, is the coolest feature of the knife. Really, I think that's really neat. And yeah, there's a lot of thought going into that to follow the theme. So all in all, I'd say it's a pretty decent little knife for package opening and whatnot. So that's what I got to say about this one, guys. So I'll see you in the next one. This is the Radio Geek from Radio Geek Blades.